Morning, everyone. It's Grow with Joe here to give you more lessons on how to live your best life. Uh, I do financial planning, do development coaching, time management coaching, just to help you live your best life. Like help you grow your inner circle success, where you're working on yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, so that you can get that outer circle success of your career, your money, and your relationships. And most of the time, to help you start growing as a person, you just need tips on how to become a better person. If you knew better, you would do better, right? And today's lesson is about planning. One of my favorite quotes about planning is when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And going like a story about me, I'm living here in Medellin, Colombia, as a digital nomad, working on this business, and yeah, I love it here. But I would not be here if it wasn't for a plan. And what got me here was back in 2018, Thanksgiving time frame. I went to Chicago to go visit my sister, and we were talking about how we wish we learned Spanish as kids because it would provide us a lot of opportunities now as adults. Because I'm in the financial services industry, and only 2% of financial advisors, financial planners are Latinos, and the population is 19%. So we got a long way to go, and I would love to translate all this content in Spanish one day, do a Facebook Live in English, and then immediately just start doing it in Spanish. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make this happen. So then I started creating a plan. So the first thing to help you accomplish your goals and get your best life and have a plan is start with a goal. Have the end in mind. What are you working towards? Because what's the plan if you don't know where the destination is? So back in November 18, I was like, okay, I'm going to go move to Latin America. I heard Colombia has the best Spanish to learn, so I'm gonna go check that out. One of my good friends told me, "Hey, go check Medellin. It's a nice place, and I love it here. It's weather's amazing, people are good, food is good too." And so that got me like, "Hey, this is what I really want to work towards." So I decided, okay, what is it going to need to happen? So the second part is just make devising like what do you need to start doing to make everything come true. So what I did is I'm like, okay, I was in the Marines, I had my GI Bill, I had to quit my job because my job is not going to allow me to move over to Latin America. So I was like, okay, I have my GI Bill, I can apply for to go get my MBA. It was already accepted MBA program, but I decided to delay it, and which I'm glad I did because now I'm living here in Medellin, Colombia, using my GI Bill, and it's helping me pay for school and giving me a basic allowance for housing and everything. So I was like, okay, I have this resource, and then when I went to then before I went to Colombia to check it out for a week, when I went to this business conference, and it's like, hey, you could do all these things to help you market yourself. It's like, oh, that's really good. So I took that, and and then I calculated my budget to help me to figure out what is it going to cost. So I looked online, and it was like, hey, what does it cost to live? And it's literally about $1,000 a month to live here. Rent costs 425, eating costs 200 bucks, cell phone costs $6, health insurance costs $65, and you still have $300 to go out, and that is a lot. You could go out and spend 10 bucks for a night, and you would have a great time. Taxis are $2, so transportation is pretty cheap and everything. So I was like, okay, I only need to make $1,500 a month if I had that for my GI Bill. And then I was like, then when I was here checking out, I was like, oh, I could start my own financial planning business and everything. I had the idea, but then it gave me, listened to this one episode of Financial Advisor Success podcast with with Roger Whitney, and he created a business where he combines financial planning with life coaching. I was like, that is exactly what I want to do. So then I started creating a plan to start making that happen. So everything starts with a goal first. And then once you have your goal, then you start doing research. Okay, what is it going to take for me to make this thing happen? And then so I started reaching out to people, be like, hey, I want to do this. What is the best way? Or I use Google and be like, hey, what is the best way to make this happen? And then I started formulating a plan. I was like, okay, over the next 8 months, I'm going to apply for MBA school. I'm going to start my financial planning business. And then I just started making those things happen. And then I told myself, once the goal of making $1,500 a month from my business and from school, then I'm going to go straight to Mexico, where I stay with my cousin for about a month. And then I went to Costa Rica for school and Panama for school for these residency programs. Those were amazing experiences. And then I finally got here in Colombia in February, and my Spanish is a lot better being here. I've been overseas, I guess over like in Latin America for 10 months now. It is flying by. Did not expect quarantine to happen, but hey, it is what it is. I'm still making the best of my time here. And so then the final part of the plan is you got to start taking action. Uh, a plan, if you don't take any action on a plan, you're still going to fail. I'm very good on executing on things I say I'm going to do. So just realize that when you take action, you're voting for a new identity. When I said, "Hey, I'm going to start my own business and go move overseas," I was started taking actions to make that stuff happen. And I was voting for to be that person. I said, hey, I'm going to be a digital nomad and I'm going to go learn Spanish. And I made it happen. And the key thing is you just have to try. You just have to jump and go. And if you fail, it's not the end of the world. When you mess up and things don't work out, hey, you still gain some learning experience. But when you don't even take an action, the opposite of failure, most people say the opposite of success is failure, but really it is nothing. If you don't do anything, you're never going to be successful. Even if you try something, you're still going to learn. You can take that, and yeah, even though I wasn't successful in last other things in my life, it's me taking action that got me to this place. But now, hey, things are good. Uh, not there for Spanish yet. Quarantine messed a lot of things up. I was learning a lot. Now things are opening up here, so I'm starting to hear more people speak Spanish, and I can respond in Spanish and everything. So that is very helpful. And so yeah, those are my tips to help you with the plan. So the first tip is set a goal. Ask yourself, what do you want to have in your life? Where do you want to go? And this comes with financially. Be like, hey, I want to retire at 60 years old, 40 years old, 70 years old. It doesn't matter. Just say, hey, I want to retire here and I want to make this happen. And then you got to ask yourself, what is it going to take me to make that goal a reality? And so then you're like, hey, if it's financial, be like, hey, I just need to set aside $500 a month. If that's the case, then you got to look at your budget and say, okay, I got to cut back on expenses here. Or I think the best choice is like, hey, let me not sacrifice my standard of living and try to figure out how I can make more money or live in a place like here in Medellin, Colombia, where it's basically every dollar I make in the United States is like making $4 here. So yeah, life is pretty good here in terms of my standard of living. Help out the economy here and everything. But yeah, so have a goal so you know what you're working towards. And then step 3 is setting a plan, like putting the plan together. So you got to figure out, okay, what is the strategies I need? What are the components I need to make this to help me reach my goal? Because if you don't put everything together, then it's not going to come true. It took me about a week of planning to figure out how to get to here to Medellin, Colombia. And that plan took me 8 months to execute on. And then from there, once you have the plan in order, then you have to execute. Execution is everything. The more you try things out, the more the more experimenting you're going to do, and then you're going to figure out what's working, what's not working, and then you can take it from there. So those are my 3 tips to help you get a plan in order. And yeah, you don't want to be like Alice in Wonderland, who says, "Hey, which direction I need to go to that cat?" And the cat says, "Where do you need to go?" It's like, I don't know. Then it doesn't matter. So the key thing is you want to be intentional with your life. If you're casual about life, you can end up a casualty. You might get lucky, but I don't want to bet on luck. I want to be intentional with my life, and plans help me be intentional, and they can help you out too. And so if you need a plan to help you grow your inner circle or help you with your finances, I take in new clients and everything. And you can schedule that at growwithjoe.me/start here, and you can get started. So like I said, the biggest step is taking execution. And once you do that, then you can start enjoying more of life. I've really enjoyed my last 10 months here. Saw the pyramids in Mexico City, went to the Sandblast Islands in Panama, went to 2 volcanoes in Costa Rica, been here in Medellin, Colombia, just experienced the culture. And yeah, it's all about taking action on the plan. 1 minute planning saves you 10 minutes of execution time. So think about that, and things should be good. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I'll be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. because tomorrow I got to be at the dentist at 9 a.m. For my teeth whitening. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. It only cost me $95, and that would have cost me like $500 in the United States. And yeah, definitely think about, if everyone's teleworking, think about living in a different country that's cheaper. Like living here, I have all the same amenities as the United States. There's some inconveniences, but overall, life is pretty good. So think about that. If you want questions about that, just send me a message here. I'm also on Instagram at GrowJoe. Spend a lot of time there. But thanks for joining me today. And remember, if you go with Joe, you can grow with Joe, because Joe knows dough. All right, take care.